boys and girls. It's Mrs. Eng again. This is a picture book parade story time. So today I'm going to read some turtle books. The first one I'm going to read is an Eric Carle story, The Foolish Tortoise. It's an Eric Carle story, but it's written by Richard Buckley, and it is published, oh my goodness, Simon Spotlight. Okay, here we go. Tortoise was tired of being slow. He wanted to get up and go. He took off his large, heavy shell. He left it lying where it fell. Hooray, he cried. Now I've been freed. I will see the world at double speed. And here he goes. He's a little bit skinny, isn't he, inside that shell? He was faster, but not express, and his protection was far less. So when he heard a hornet's drone, the tortoise crept beneath a stone. Can you see his head sticking out from under the stone? And here's the hornet up here trying to sting him. A hungry bird came swooping past. He looked so fierce and flew so fast, the tortoise hid behind some trees and felt quite weak behind the knees. And we can't even see where he's hiding now. He's done such a good job of hiding. I do not feel safe. There's too much risk. If only I could be more brisk. He headed for the riverbed. A fish swam up and the tortoise fled. But it doesn't look like he's fleeing too fast, does it? Along his way, our hero went and almost had an accident. A snake with open jaws slid near. The tortoise backed away in fear. Oh, wow. Look how fierce this snake looks. And he's got his mouth wide open. He could swallow up that tortoise in a minute. A hare, a hornet, and a horse raced by so rapidly they seemed to fly. The tortoise gasped, eyes open wide. I'll never be that quick, he sighed. He wandered on. The sun rose high. Oh, I wish I had more shade, he cried. It must be hot under there. A sudden thunderstorm rolled in and soaked the tortoise to the skin. The wind rose up, and soon the breeze was bending branches in the trees. The tortoise shook. Now I'm cold. I wish I had not been so bold. I think I've lost the urge to roam. I think it's time that I went home. Without my shell, I do not feel right. So, when his shell came into sight, he climbed back in and said, good night. So he's nice and safe now in his shell. And that's what this guy has. He has a shell, and when he's afraid, he can also hide his head just like that. This story is called Emma's Turtle, and it's a story by Eve Bunting, and it is published by Boyd's Mills Press. And here he is. He's a pretty cute little turtle, isn't he? I am Emma's turtle. I live in a pen in the backyard. Emma visits me often and brings me snacks. I let her stroke my head. She sits on her swing and reads to me of the world and places that are far, far away. She shows me pictures of elephants in Africa, kangaroos in Australia. There are tigers in India and panda bears in China. It is all quite amazing. Have you ever tried that? reading a book while you're swinging in a swing. I'm not sure it's so easy and safe. But here are the animals that she talks about. There's the panda, the elephant, the tiger, the kangaroo. My life is good, but I often dream of the world that is far, far away. A very smart little turtle, right? One day, I tell myself to stop dreaming and go. And so I dig a hole under the wire of my pen and I squeeze out. And off he goes on his adventure. I am walking in this place I've never walked before. My legs are short and the grass is long. I think this must be a jungle. Perhaps I'm in Africa. Is that an elephant's leg? Oh my goodness, he certainly has an imagination. Oh, I'm going to be squished. No, it's only the stump of some strange jungle tree. I plod on. I have come so far now that I think I must be in Australia. Is that a kangaroo leaping through the ground? No, it's a frog. But since it's in Australia, it's it's an interesting frog, but it certainly moves very fast. I hear bells chiming. That must be temple bells. And this must be India. Yikes! Is that a tiger? Wow, he does have a good imagination. I pull my two shells together so he can't eat me. You see him here? But when I peek out, I see it's just the silly striped cat from next door. I never knew he sometimes visited India. He certainly is a big cat, isn't he? An Indian beetle watches me. He looks exactly like other beetles I have known. We are eye to eye. It's nice here in India, I tell him, but come visit me in the United States. It's nice there too. I may do that, said the beetle. I gaze around. Do you know where the United States is from here? I asked. Sorry, the beetle says. I have no idea. I am worried. I have come so far. Will I be able to find my way home? Will I have to stay in India forever? A voice is calling, Turtle, Turtle, where are you? Hooray, it's my Emma. There she is, looking for the turtle. I'm here in India, I say, but I am using turtle talk, and she doesn't understand. She sees me and picks me up. Thank goodness I found you. Thank goodness, I say. It's so good to be off my feet. I let her stroke my head. She has brought me a snail in her pocket. It is fat and juicy and very good. Emma carries me back and sets me in my pen. Strawberry slices are scattered about for my supper. I'm tired, but I can still eat. Emma leans across my fence. Poor turtle, she croons. I bet it took you all day to go from one side of the yard to the other. I hope it was interesting for you, but did I really go only from one end of the yard to the other? Astonishing. Still, it's exciting up here to see the whole world in my backyard. I settle to sleep. A traveling turtle needs his rest. Tomorrow I will dig another hole. I need to go out and find China. I didn't see that today. And my third book today is a folk tale. It is a trickster tale from the Amazons, and it's about a turtle whose name is Djibouti. It's by Gerald McDermott, and it is published by Harcourt. I know that some of you have heard some of my trickster stories about Anansi, the spider. Well, this time it is a trickster story, and it comes from the Amazon. Djibouti, the tortoise, played a song on his flute. His shell was smooth and shiny, and his song was sweet. His music wove through the tangled vines and floated above the treetops. All the creatures of the rainforest listened to his song. For some, Djibouti's music was sour. Jaguar could remember when Djibouti tricked him into chasing his own tail. Lizard could remember when Djibouti tricked him into giving Djibouti a ride on his back. Topper could remember when Djibouti tricked him into a tug-of-war with a whale. Who do you think would win that tug-of-war? They're both pretty fat. But the birds of the air loved Djibouti's music, and they sang when he played. Here he is playing his flute down here, and the birds are all singing up there. Only thing who didn't like him was Vulture. He could not sing at all. He was jealous of Djibouti and waited for the day when he could eat the little tortoise. There came a time when all the birds of the air were invited to a festival in heaven. The King of Heaven called them together to sing, to rejoice, and receive his blessing. When Djibouti saw the great gathering of the birds, he wanted to go too. But of course, Djibouti can't fly. I want to play my flute for the King of the Heaven, he said. Vulture just laughed at him. I may not be able to make music like you, said Vulture, but I can spread my wing and soar all the way to heaven. Take me with you, Djibouti pleaded. Vulture saw his chance. Climb on my back, little friend, he said. The vulture spread his dark wings. There he is. There's Djibouti right on his back. Rose up in the air. Djibouti held tight to Vulture's feathers as they flew high above the treetops. The dense forest and the great river stretched far below. They had almost reached heaven when Vulture suddenly swooped down and turned upside down. Djibouti lost hold of Vulture's feathers and slipped off his back. Djibouti went tumbling down through the sky. The earth came rising toward him, and he cried out, "Twigs and bushes, flowers and trees, move aside, make way for me." And all the plants and trees of the forest spread apart to make way for Djibouti, but he forgot to call to the rocks. Djibouti came down on it with a crack, and his smooth, shiny shell broke into pieces. At that moment, the music of the festival in heaven stopped. The King of Heaven looked down and saw Vulture joining the other birds. "Where is Djibouti?" said the King of the Heaven. Vulture just shrugged. "How would I know?" he answered. "Djibouti wanted to play for me, and you offered to bring him here," said the King of Heaven. "Tell me where he is." Vulture turned away from the King of the Heaven, and he hid his head beneath his wings. The King of Heaven commanded the birds to search for Djibouti. The birds filled the sky, flying high over the treetops, swooping low through the tangled vines, looking for the little tortoise. And here he is lying right here. Toucan, macaw, and hummingbird found Djibouti. He was lying helplessly in the forest. His beautiful shell was broken. The birds gathered the pieces and patched him together. When they were done, Djibouti came up, played a song of thanks for them. And when the birds had touched Djibouti, they each took on a new color. Toucan got a red and yellow beak, macaw bright orange feathers, and hummingbird an emerald green belly. Vulture stayed the same, dull color. He still can't sing. Djibouti, the tortoise, plays on his flute. His music weaves through the tangled vine and floats above the treetops. His shell may be cracked and patched, but his song is sweet, at least to some. And look who's hiding over here in the corner, the vulture.